and I did my schooling from various army schools. And after that, I did my Bachelor's of Engineering from Sri Siddhartha Institute of Technology, that is based in Bangalore. And I specialized in mechanical engineering. And in my final year of mechanical engineering, I was selected for the Indian Institute of Science Karnataka State Scholarship in my final year project for engineering.
Mhm.
And I graduated with 7.6 CGPA that time. And while I was in my final year, so I had the realization whether to join the armed forces where I come from, or to try management, because that is what most of my friends were doing back in the day, sir. So I tried for joining the defense. It couldn't work out because of some medical issues, even though I had the recommendation. And thereafter, within 6 months, I gave CAT, CMAT, and ZAT exams. So out of which the ZAT, which is Xavier aptitude test, so I was able to clear it, and I joined Xavier Institute of Social Services in marketing, and in majors in marketing and minors in finance, specialization wise. So that was from 2014 to 2016. And in 2016, I got placed from the campus itself at a leading microfinance institution as an area manager. And I worked there for almost 1.5 years. And then some of my friends from a neighboring state were getting the funds together for a startup in a telecommunication services. So I worked there for around 8 months. And due to some legal issues that we weren't able to discuss, or the co-founder team wasn't able to trace out. So, the funding went in a crunch, and, we were let go. And after that, from a referral, I joined a defense contracting company in Noida. And that is where the international business part grew, as I'll explain briefly about what I did. So I was in the part of contract management. So we were providing AI-based surveillance systems for various clients that included government clients, that included private sector undertaking, as well as private clients,
Mhm.
majorly in the defense sector, but also, let's say, a country like Saudi Arabia, or even Greece would look for such cheaper solutions, which could have which is provided by India as well as China. So we were system integrators and master system integrators. So quite early in my life, I had the opportunity to deal with international clients, and deal with the time zones of client meeting and client interaction.
Mhm.
And that feeling grew stronger, and it was very interesting to me, sir.
Mhm.
However, I was given a particular task like A, B, and C, and this is what you're supposed to do. You need not, step out of that bowl of responsibilities that I was given. And while I was exploring other opportunities as well to study, but this struck with me that international business is where I want to develop my career in. And I met a recruiter from the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom, who specialize in providing 1 year's master's course in international business.
Right, right.
So that is where I got selected, along with like 3 4 students from India, and all of them had extensive 4 year to 3 year work experience. And this happened in 2019. So I graduated in 2020 with a 3.7 CGPA equivalent, sir. And while I was studying there, I also had responsibilities in leadership, and I was awarded Outstanding Contribution Award as well. So quickly going through the graduation ceremony happened virtually because of this COVID rut. And after that, I had to come to India as my visa expired.
Right.
And even though I had couple of internship opportunities and exporting companies, which was
Mhm.
related to my profile, but it got rescinded, unfortunately. So February onwards, I have been applying. Most opportunities are there. I do get shortlisted, but they are, sir, mostly into sales and business management of credit companies, like, let's say, some lender bank or whatever, which is not the work that I want to do. I might be choosing while I'm in a begging position that I should not do,
Right.
but that is the situation. Now, I connected with my head of department a couple of months back, And I discussed with him that, sir, not much has been happening in the career front. And my backup plan was to apply for a PhD position in Leeds itself. But they are also not hiring students as of now, which what I mean by that is that I need to pay them to get a PhD done, which as of now I cannot. My funding has been provided to me amply only for my masters. After that, I
Right.
cannot put
Mm-hmm.
further from my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So while searching across all different opportunities, uh, where most of the Indian students land up for PhD is starting with the US, UK, and then Australia, followed by Singapore and Germany, and that is the end of it, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody is specialized in biotechnology or scientific research, they do not go for Spain, Finland, or Netherlands. And while searching in the entirety, I found out that Norway is providing PhD opportunity specializing in international business. It is exactly what I studied. And my master's thesis is also related to what they have published. Let's say global value chain or certain concepts of the Lewis model. So what I have studied in my master's is what they want to develop in the PhD in accordance to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So that is their PhD agenda for 3 years. And in
Pranjal,
comparison to,
yeah,
sir,
Pranjal,
sir,
I think I got enough information from you, but
yes, yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions for you now.
Right, sir.
One is the biggest question I have. You talked about the this period of confusion that you are going on
Right, sir. Right, sir.
because of COVID or whatever the reason is for that
Right, sir.
matter.
Right, sir.
My question to and then to tackle it, you are looking for this PhD options, and what should
Right,
I do now? And and you
sir.
don't want to do some odd jobs. You want to explore the other options, which you think it's better suited for you, right?
Right, sir.
Right. So my question to you is, while you're searching for all these other options, um, or PhD options, uh, what's your plan here? Is the plan here is that I want to go abroad and live abroad and have my life there and work in a company there, or the plan is like what's the plan there? Okay, well, you go there, you do something. You, for you, it doesn't matter whether it's Norway, whether it's UK, whether it's whatever it is.
Sir.
But so my question, because if it's about learning, you can learn that
I got, I got,
I am too.
I got your
But
question, sir. I got your question.
yeah,
Sir,
but I just want to remind you, I am not asking this question based on because people want to go abroad. That's fine. That's their choice. There is nothing wrong in
sir,
it,
sir.
right? The only reason I'm asking you this question is I want to understand like what's your plan after that, like what you're planning for your career, or what do you think
Right,
about
sir.
your career? Yeah.
Sir, because this environment and this question in entirety is new to me. It was like a backup plan subconsciously, but as you can also see in my resume that it was a corporate. It has been a corporate profile. It hasn't
Hmm.
been in the academic suitability. But keeping that in mind, sir, the kind of meager jobs that I'm getting, I don't think that I mean I will remain a mediocre person for coming 8 years, that I can see and visualize clearly. However,
So
this is not an escape route. That is also I want to make clear, sir, that this is not an escape route, because I grinded extensively in my masters, and I enjoyed working in the domain of international
so
business.
so
And understand,
so
sir.
I guess so I understand. So what you're thinking is like based on your profile, based on what you have done in the background, what you're being
Sir.
offered is not even close what you can do, and that's for you. You need to take a leap forward, right?
Oh,
Is that
yes, sir.
make
I
sense?
have to. I have to, sir.
Yeah. So I okay, I get an idea then. So okay, let's talk about then your questions now here. So what's
So,
the dilemma here? Let's talk about that. What's the confusion here in your brain?
sir,
one
so
one
though,
thing one thing is you're not getting anything. I mean, as I speak to so many students all the time now,
sir,
COVID has been unusual to a lot of them, actually to me also.
absolutely,
I
sir.
have gone through
Absolutely.
a lot of ups and downs in this COVID, but what I want to understand is what's the dilemma here. Like, okay, this is a COVID situation, what should I do based on this scenario, or what's talk about that first.
I'll start with the first insecurity, sir. No, there is this saying, sir, that you are the average of five people you hang out with, and
Hmm.
sort of that. The herd mentality is always there.
Uh-huh.
So most of my friends either belong to engineering. Basically, they are working in a corporate field. Nobody has even touched academia at all.
Hmm.
So even though they have pursued either MS or MTech, they have landed up in corporate jobs. Nobody has done PhD in my friend circle as well. So as a person, as a how do I say, sir? There is no risk averse zone here that should I do a PhD or not, because I haven't seen anyone doing so.
Yeah, yeah, but
So,
my question here is PhD. One of the things. Let me tell you. I hope people would have told me when I was doing my PhD,
sir,
but PhD has to be completely driven by your interest. It has nothing to do with your brother has done it or your dad is forcing you,
got it,
or some whatever the reason is. So
sir.
it has completely do with your interest, and at the same time, I will also tell you, PhD has nothing to do with okay, you have a master's, you're gonna make more money. PhD, you're gonna make much more money. It has nothing to do with that too. So just keep
Right,
that
sir.
in mind, right? Because
Got it.
a career is all about your choices, what you do, and people who enjoy doing what they like, or if they are persistent what they do, even a chai wala can make more money. You understand my point?
Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Got it.
So just keep that in your mind that PhD has nothing to do with making more money, or your life is going to be something very amazing or whatever. It has to be completely driven by your interest, and
Interest.
eventually things happens. Okay,
Right, sir.
so you need to ask that question to yourself: are you so dedicated, okay, that you want to invest next 4 or 5 year of your life making almost no money, okay,
Sir.
and focus on your studies? That's your
Sir,
that
so,
you Yeah.
sir, here is the dilemma, sir. First, with respect to the time, it is 3 years. You have to submit your thesis in the third year itself. So you may call it is an extension over a typical master's course, which is up to 2 years in the US and 18 months in in Germany. Other than that, sir, unlike UK or unlike Australia, the students are not treated like students. PhD students, let's say within quotes, are not students in Scandinavian countries per se, in that be Denmark, Norway, or Sweden. So they are given a worker's visa, which is equivalent to H1
No,
B,
no,
sir.
I'm not
So
talking about.
and they are paid accordingly. So I will be getting a salary, sir. It
No,
is
no,
not a stipend;
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
salary. So,
I mean, see, here's the thing. If you
sir,
are getting, if you're getting scholarships
right, sir.
for your studies, no
Yes, sir.
doubt in my mind, hands down, no, there's no
Sir,
question. The real problem comes, and I strongly say that the PhD, as such, whether it's engineering or whatever, you should not
got
be
it.
paying from your pocket,
Absolutely, absolutely,
right? Whether it's 3 years or 4 years, doesn't matter. So
absolutely.
my answer to you, what some of the questions that you have written is, if your interest is there and you want to do a PhD because you feel like you are interested in that particular topic deeply, I
Right,
would
sir.
definitely say go ahead. But I strongly recommend you to avoid paying from your pocket for sure, unless and
Yes, sir.
until you do a risk analysis and you say, mm, based on what I get from what I will be doing versus if I leave, if I am investing $80,000 from my pocket, I am able to do it, and the return of investment will be fine in 2 3 years. Like for example, if you
Okay.
look at people who come to US to do their MBA, whether they
Right,
go
sir.
to Harvard or Stanford or whatever, uh, they end up paying from their pocket close to $180,000. That's is it,
Easily,
it is
sir.
that easily, right?
Easily,
And
easily.
I have family members, my cousins, who have done that,
Sir.
and then they found a job and it's better life.
Right.
So I mean, coming back to you, is if you have done that analysis and if you are okay with that, there is nothing wrong also to take some sort of a loan and go ahead and do it, to be honest with you.
Got it. Got it.
I personally don't know if for you, uh, whatever university you have chosen, whether they guarantee you some sort of a placement or whatever. Because I can tell you, so the reason I say so is because after PhD, I decided to do my MBA.
Sir.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay.
I was
So
just
I
shifting the
decided
tab.
to do my MBA.
Sir.
Uh, um, and I'm doing from Ohio State University. And then I see that the university does guarantee you some sort of a placement, because
Sir.
that's why they are charging you so much.
Right,
So
sir.
what I'm saying is, if you, whatever university you're thinking of going, if you find that that's what the support system is there, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
for long term, it's not a bad idea.
Right, sir.
My only question to you would be is, um, uh, whether you want to go for a PhD program, and you want to spend that much of a time, and you, because I have, to be honest, I have less idea about Europe as compared to
Sir.
US, because that's where I
Right, sir.
spend most of my time. But
Right.
if you have done that sort of analysis, I would say it might be a worthwhile to take a loan and go ahead, and
Sir.
move ahead.
So I spoke.
Is nothing wrong in it.
So I recently spoke to a couple of students who already are in the PhD program. Can you hear me, sir? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Lovely. So I already spoke with them, I think a couple of days back, and I asked them that you do understand that I mean, I come from a middle class family where I have already invested in my master's extensively. Even though I got shortlisted for Kellogg's as well, sir, as well as Northwestern University in the US, but the fees was skyrocketing, so I couldn't go. So I understood that okay, one should not put all the eggs in one basket and sort of like that. So in terms of money, so I asked him this question that do I have to show a certain kind of amount in my bank balance for applying for a PhD or something like that? There are lots of trivial rules, especially in Europe and UK, like that, sir. So they said that no, you don't have to show a single penny. The university is going to pay you and they are going to file your visa. Now, coming to that question, sir, that if they provide a guaranteed placement, it is not guaranteed, sir. They have written in
No,
their
no,
on
no,
their
no.
website that
I'm not.
networking
Yeah,
opportunities will
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
provided.
yeah.
That's it.
I'm not saying guaranteed placement. What I'm saying,
So
they should have a placement unit. That's all I'm saying. Because that's what
a
happens here.
dedicated placement
Right,
unit. Got
right.
it.
Because usually what happens in engineering schools in US and more so
So,
are in UK, there is no engineering placement service. You go out on your own and do your job.
sir, not even with engineering, sir. There are no n- uh,
No,
the
no, like
same
in
infrastructure not there for even social sciences as well.
yeah, no,
It is
like
not there.
in India, I mean, when we went to school, even now, we had a placement service. And third year, you had a, I mean, every engineering school. So in
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying is, in outside you don't, but in PhDs they do have that sort of a thing. So
Sir,
see, I probably have to wrap it up next 10 minutes. But
sure, sir.
my answer to you would be is like, do your thought process.
Sir,
I some I would say, if you, sometimes taking a loan is not a bad idea too, to be honest with
got
you.
it. Got it.
If you see, if you feel that you have done a right analysis, and you have spoken to students out there who are already doing PhD or whatever, or probably if you have a data about, okay, what happened to those students who have graduated from their international ones, right?
Sir,
Not from European Union,
yes,
international
sir, yes, sir.
students,
I
and they
understand.
and where they are right now, and things like that. And if you
Sir,
do that sort of analysis, I think it's not a bad idea to probably, if you have to take a little bit of a loan initially, and go there and do things. It's
sir,
To be honest with you, it usually with MBAs, that's how it happens. With
right.
PhDs, I for sure know. I have one friend actually who's doing his PhD in finance from University of Florida, and he came in fuller scholarship. So my
Sir,
point here is, usually PhDs are funded, so.
sir,
But what you are thinking, this route of taking a leap on your career, and then that leap would jumpstart your, to get to a next level. I think it's a right move, in my opinion. I don't see any other way. If you're being frustrated about what you have right now and what you can do, I
sir.
don't see any other way for you to, put a nitro in your career and zoom out. You know what I mean?
Got it, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So that's for sure. I would say I would agree on that part. Other than that, I would say, because of COVID or for some other reason, I would definitely say, if you of course, if you have to pay from your pocket and you know by your experience,
Right.
if they say, oh, do virtual, don't do that shit.
So, no,
It's
no,
it's not worth. It's
that
not
is
worth,
there.
right? Yeah, yeah.
That
So
is
it's
there.
not worth at all unless until you are physically there and you are there doing it. Don't do that.
Mm,
But at the same time, I would say, if let's say you decide not to go or something,
mm.
you can always try to explore options in India too. They are tough. I'm not saying they are easy, especially with IIMs or something. They are tough, but people who graduate from those schools have a flourished career too. So keep that
Yes,
in
sir.
mind.
That is always good. Basically, sir, this was my plan B, as I mentioned in my email as well. That getting into
Right.
academics or pursuing my own interest, that too at this age. So unlike like a teenager mindset, that under 25 people don't have that
No,
flair
no,
and the flavor.
no, no.
So
So
I was
that is
clear on that.
no, no. So that is the reason I told you about PhDs is about interest. That's the reason I said.
Got
And
it.
and but as I said, PhDs from US is very different. There is no timeline here. People spend years and years and
So
nothing happens.
I
But
I
as
have seen the video, sir. It almost extends up to 7 years as well in certain cases, or
yeah,
probably
yeah.
in most cases.
Yeah. I mean, I
Right.
I I know personally my colleagues who graduated from place where I am. Some of them graduated like 6 years, 7 years. Some
Right.
of them were pretty smart. They graduated in 4 years, 3.5 years
Mm,
also. So
got it.
totally depends on you. But I think you in UK, in Japan, or somewhere they have this restriction of you need to graduate by, which is one sense is good for students. So
Right.
if that work, as I said, if that works out for you, that's not bad idea. But
Got it.
other than that, if you decide to do second MBA or whatever, it may not pan out very well
Yes.
too.
Also, that was not in my mind. Doing another masters just to delay the disaster or sort of cut out the gap, because I didn't wanted to be in the victimized by COVID mindset. To say that this is
Yeah,
what
but
has happened and I don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
any other.
yeah. But there is nothing in your hand. So you're working right
Sure.
now, or you're not?
No, sir, I'm not working as of now, but I have been extensively applying, and I have received opportunities in Bangalore. They are startups based in AI.
Yeah, but what I would definitely tell you another thing is, uh, for you it is also important to work,
Sir,
right? So sometimes what happens is, you can always figure out things while you're working. I think that's a better situation than sitting at home and figuring it out.
got it.
You understand my point? So keep
Mhm.
that in mind, is your brain works, in my opinion, much better if you're already engaged and then you're looking out, because that is
Got
also a
it.
level of confidence you have. But if you sit at home, and let's say you are sitting in last 1 year, and then you're
Mm.
sit another 6 months, your brain is, whatever you learn is going to go out, right? so
Absolutely, absolutely.
so my other piece of advice would be, is like, if you are able to get a job and it's a decent one, and you feel like going, feel like you can learn something, uh, please go out from home and work, and start working, because one thing for sure is, not many people are able to find a job in this scenario too. So
Sir,
if you get an offer, I would say it would be very unfortunate if you decide not to go, because
got it.
I don't think, if you have something else to lash up, that is fine. But otherwise, that's my other piece of advice is, you can do whatever you are doing right now while you're working
Sir.
too.
So it can be, let's say, to conclude and to put it in a timeline. So while I check on what PhD opportunities are out there and what kind of offers that I will receive, I should better join the startup
Oh
that has
yeah, yeah.
given me an
No,
offer,
I
and that will
mean,
always add
absolutely.
up to my experience. I understand your points.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I will tell you is, when you say what they offer and what somebody offers on PhD, ask yourself, do you really want to do it, and why?
Right,
Figure that out first. But
right,
definitely join a job, because what you're doing sitting at home, you can do a much better while you're working.
right. Got it.
Yeah. So there's no point. It's not going to help you anyway, financially, morally, emotionally. It's not going to help you, sitting at home and doing nothing. And I was talking to a student yesterday. He's been out
Sure,
for 2 years, and his I think his mom died because of COVID, and he was so depressed.
sure,
uh, my answer to you would be, is the COVID has been unfortunate for everybody, right? Career,
sure.
professional, personal, whatever. if you find a job, trust me, this is the one of the better getaway, because you have something to move. Like, you wake up in the morning not in pajamas, but you at least, if you're in pajamas, you're working at least, you know what I mean?
Sir, sir.
So definitely, first thing first, if you get a job, please go ahead and join it, because you can do exactly the same thing while you're working, and probably that's going to give you a much better perspective of, should I go out or not, and things like that.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. Okay. Yep.
So,
Pranjal, nice talking
th-
to you.
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Likewise,
yeah. And
much
we
much better
will.
mind space right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. As I said, I think you're doing fine. Trust me. Most of the time, whenever, especially now, when I talk to a lot of colleagues like you, and most of the time, they already know the answer. They're just looking for someone to talk and try to get a assurance for what they probably already know. In my opinion, in
Sir,
your case, I think you have done a lot of hardship, a lot of work.
sir.
It's a time to be patient, and not to fluctuate too much, and do what is right now. Like,
Right,
first thing first, don't stay at home. Like, that's one
right.
first thing. That's
Got it.
because when you fix this, second thing, you can always do it, and probably you will
Absolutely.
get a better idea. Okay.
Sir. Sir.
Okay, Pranjal.
All right, sir.
We'll
Thank
be
you
in
so much,
touch,
sir.
and
Awesome.
hopefully it helps to, this discussion helps, and we'll
Sure, sir.
talk
Sure, sir.
again. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, sir. Bye, sir. Bye bye.